The story begins in a dark room where a man lays out 3 glasses of liquor in front of him, then drops a bullet into each one by one. Finally, his gaze stops at the glass containing 2 bullets. He pours strong liquor in and drinks it in one gulp. Next, he picks up a pistol and loads the bullet currently in his mouth into the chamber. He aims the gun under his jaw, his eyes filled with the intent to end his life. Only a dry click is heard, but the bullet does not fly out. It seems that even the Grim Reaper refuses to accept this utterly miserable man. Ultimately, what tragedy did he have to go through? This man's name is John, a former U.S. Marine nicknamed Falcon. In an action operation, all of John's teammates sacrificed their lives. Only he was lucky enough to survive. However, the fact that John met with disaster without dying caused him to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. After the failed attempt to seek death, John stops by a convenience store to buy more liquor. Suddenly, 2 bold robbers storm inside with guns. Seeing this, one robber gets angry because he feels looked down upon. He points his gun straight at John, reminding him, "I'm a robber here, cooperate a bit." But who would have thought? Upon hearing this, John appears excited. He then pulls the gun barrel and places it against his chest. "Come on, shoot right here." Seeing the opponent hesitate, John pulls the muzzle into his mouth, then moves the barrel up to his forehead, even kindly adding a reminder. "Shoot here, and red and white fireworks will shoot out. I give you a chance and you don't know how to cherish it?" John's patience is completely exhausted. John snatches the weapon and knocks the guy opposite him unconscious. The remaining robber sees this and raises a knife intending to sneak attack, but is caught by John's backhand. Afterwards, he knees him and puts him in a chokehold, rendering him unconscious. John even takes money from the robber's pockets to give to the store clerk, then leaves amidst the stunned gazes of everyone. However, when John returns home, painful memories come rushing back, surging like floodwaters, forcing John to rush into frantic physical training, punching the wall until it turns into chalk dust. The next morning, John barely manages to get some shut-eye when he is woken up by rapid knocking on the door. It turns out to be his younger sister Cindy, who has just returned from a business trip in Brazil and stopped by to visit. Cindy is the only remaining ray of light in John's life, and only she can make John flustered like a child. This time she returned to New York and intentionally came to visit John because she has to go back to Brazil tomorrow. While chatting, John asks about Cindy's work. Although she speaks very gently, John still recognizes the fatigue that is hard to hide on her face. Not long after, someone sees a girl lying unconscious on the beach. The police receive the report and arrive at the scene to discover it is Cindy. A female police officer hurriedly calls for people to take Cindy to the hospital for emergency treatment. This serious incident is quickly relayed to the U.S. consulate. The person in charge there is Manny. He is also a friend of John. Seeing Cindy covered in blood in the photo, Manny's face instantly darkens, and he notifies John immediately. John quickly flies to Brazil with a mood both angry and worried. He disregards Manny's advice and immediately rushes straight to the hospital. Seeing Cindy lying unconscious with severe injuries, John becomes furious to the point of madness. And right at this moment, Police Chief Tiago enters the hospital room. Tiago assures John that he will try his best to investigate this case. But John has heard promises like that too many times. He no longer trusts them. He insists on going to the beach himself to investigate. Just like that, Tiago leads John to the slums. He meets the female police officer Katerina, who discovered Cindy at this place. Suddenly, a very loud sound rings out from behind. John immediately draws Katerina's gun and turns around, aiming precisely. But he discovers he is just being overly anxious. However, John quickly notices the surrounding locals brandishing weapons. Luckily, Tiago raises his hand to signal safety, so everyone finally relaxes their guard. Now that John has followed Katerina to the beach, he looks back and sees a drug gang in the distance. Intuition tells John that these people definitely know something. But since Katerina is still right beside him, John cannot conveniently step forward to ask, so he has to wait for another opportunity. Not long after, John brings a bouquet of fresh flowers to the hospital. He sees a Japanese nurse named Tomo changing Cindy's dressing. Then, just as the nurse leaves, the comatose Cindy suddenly goes into violent convulsions. At this moment, John is startled and hurriedly chases outside the hospital room, but the Japanese nurse from earlier has disappeared without a trace. Fortunately, after timely emergency treatment, they manage to save Cindy's life. Only then does John realize that there is no Japanese nurse in this hospital at all. He hurriedly instructs Tiago that he must strictly increase the hospital guard. John seeks out the beach alone again. He discovers the drug dealers still gathering at the old spot. This time no one is with him, so he approaches to ask for the leader's name. But before he finishes speaking, he suddenly notices that this man is wearing Cindy's necklace around his neck. John, furious, rushes in to choke him. The drug dealers see this and charge forward. A chaotic fight breaks out. John corners him, pulls out a knife, and interrogates him about the whole story. At this time, Katerina receives a report and hurries to the scene. She explains that this man's name is Kuka. He is Cindy's friend. A few days ago, Kuka's younger sister went missing. Cindy wanted to comfort Kuka, so she gave that necklace to him. After speaking, Kuka takes out a photo Cindy took together with his sister. Kuka gives Cindy's torn diary to John. Perhaps there are clues hidden inside. On the way back home, Katerina tells John that recently there have been continuous cases of young girls going missing in the slums. That night, John goes to a bar to drink a few glasses to relieve his sorrow. He suddenly sees a sheet of carbon paper. Suddenly, John remembers that writing leaves an indentation, so John hurriedly rubs the paper over Cindy's diary. Sure enough, a sequence of numbers appears. John takes out his phone and tries calling. On the other end is a man named Bororo. After knowing John is Cindy's brother, Bororo makes an appointment to meet John tomorrow to talk. This time, John meets Bororo at an outdoor cafe. It turns out Cindy had also noticed the recent serial disappearances of young girls. Last week, Cindy told Bororo that she had found the person who understood the matter clearly, hoping Bororo could secretly take photos of the two of them when she went to meet that person. But when recounting this point, Bororo hesitates. He says he already gave the captured photo to Cindy, and the events that happened after that have nothing to do with him. John pretends to trust him, then turns to hug Bororo goodbye, and John secretly swaps the USB drive in Bororo's pocket. While John is feeling triumphant, Bororo's car suddenly explodes, burning even him to a crisp. The woman sees that John has noticed her, so she hurriedly turns and runs away. John chases close behind. Tomo turns and slips into a car, then speeds off. Immediately after, a black car rushes in. Inside are 4 masked terrorists brandishing guns. Luckily, John reacts in time, jumping behind a car to hide. He notices the gun of a security guard nearby, immediately rolls over, and begins to counterattack. In an instant, he takes down one enemy. At this moment, the terrorists see John is out of ammo and prepare to seize the opportunity to sneak attack. But who would have expected John to reload his magazine very skillfully, then continue firing? After the danger is temporarily repelled, John goes to find Manny. From Bororo's USB, they discover that before Cindy was harmed, she met a man. After carefully examining each photo, John suddenly discovers a line of text reflected on the car window. Manny recognizes it as the name of a local nightclub. John arrived there very quickly. John notices the man hitting on the DJ on the podium. Fortunately, the opportunity arrives very fast. That man is escorted by security into the restroom. John follows immediately, but is blocked by a raised arm. He then delivers a kick from behind, sending the security guard into dreamland. This time no one is blocking the way anymore, so John storms straight into the restroom. John swings his fist to punch that man, then takes out Cindy's photo to interrogate him. But even so, he grits his teeth saying he knows nothing. This makes John lose all patience. He reaches out to press his head down into the toilet bowl, offering him a complimentary hair wash service. He confesses to John that he is only responsible for retail customers, while the real customers are in a house to the southwest. Hearing this, John takes his suitcase and leaves the nightclub. He and Manny go to that location together. On the way, they discover the man from earlier is named Lima. Manny sees the suitcase is full of forged shipping invoices. Not long after, Manny takes John to that compound, but due to his special status, he cannot participate further in the investigation. John sneaks inside alone to scout. After observing around, a beautiful girl proactively approaches John to express interest, telling John to wait at the bar for a bit. At this time, the security guard inside has also noticed John. He secretly contacts his superior. The superior turns out to be the Japanese girl who assassinated Cindy last time, Tomo. Seeing this, Tomo orders John to be disposed of. As soon as the words are spoken, the security guard leads John to a desolate place. At this moment, a black car suddenly drives in, and girls step out one by one. John is surprised to discover Kuka's sister is also among them. And right at this moment, the security guard standing behind suddenly pulls out a wire intending to strike. Luckily, John reacts in time and swings the suitcase to smash hard into his head. Then John steps up and stomps once to finish him off. He discovers these innocent girls are locked in a dark warehouse like livestock. However, someone also discovers the security guard's body. After knowing the situation, Tomo orders all security guards to search in a carpet sweep style. At the same time, she also knows clearly that the situation is out of control and can only report to the organization's boss. Meanwhile, Lima, having failed his action, is being interrogated. The boss Hiramoto orders Tomo to retrieve the stack of invoices in John's hand and dispose of Cindy as well, because she knows too much. After giving instructions, he makes another phone call. Not unexpectedly, that person is Tiago. It turns out the mole is Tiago. After knowing John has arrived at the compound, Tiago is also out of options. He can only guarantee he will resolve this case. After hanging up, Hiramoto walks up to the trembling Lima, then draws a sword and stabs it straight into Lima's heart. At this moment, John is hiding in the compound, but very quickly John is surrounded by the guards. Seeing there is no way out, John has no choice but to attack proactively. But just as he turns around, he sees Tiago and Bororo appear holding guns. Tiago pretends not to know anything, asking John why he is here. At this moment, Katerina also suddenly bursts in. Seeing this, John explains that Kuka's sister is being locked up here. Having said that, he leads everyone to the warehouse. But when the door opens, the inside is empty without a single soul. Clearly, Hiramoto knew the matter and moved the group of young girls. But at this moment, Tiago demands John hand over Lima's suitcase and orders Katerina to escort John back to the bar. But before stepping into the car, John suddenly reacts. Why did Tiago know that suitcase belonged to Lima? He hurriedly begs Katerina to go protect Cindy, then turns and runs back toward the compound. Tomo goes to the hospital. The woman looks around and sees no one, so she intends to strike and murder Cindy. Unexpectedly, gunshots suddenly ring out. It turns out Katerina appeared in time and successfully saves Cindy's life. Not long after, Tiago drives to meet Hiramoto at the port, but they have no idea that John is hiding in the trunk. John sneak attacks, knocking this man unconscious. Afterward, he sees Tiago herding the group of girls into a container to prepare for transport to Japan. He calls Manny and tells him to send people to the port to clean up. Also right at this moment, Hiramoto and Tiago discover they cannot contact their subordinates. They also know something has gone wrong and hurriedly order a search everywhere. He appears behind each man like a ghost. After landing a punch, seizes their weapons and shoots bang bang, taking down 5 men. Then he disappears into the darkness again. John rushes out, executing a beautiful move to take down 2 more. At this moment, a terrorist rushes out from a hidden corner. John hurriedly takes cover. During the gunfight, he notices the opponent's leg sticking out, so he raises his gun and fires 2 shots to resolve the opponent. John kills ceaselessly and purges all enemies. Suddenly, he sees Tiago appear right in front of him. In a fit of rage, John pushes a cart straight toward him. Tiago cannot dodge in time, so his legs are crushed. John sees this and intends to continue advancing when Bororo rushes in to block the way. He knocks John's gun away, and the two begin a hand-to-hand fight. But to John, this guy is still very green. He gets hit by a hook kick and rolls onto the ground. At this moment, Tiago has escaped and is holding a metal crate to throw in this direction. At this point, Tiago's group understands well that if they fight one-on-one like this, they cannot take down John, so they decide to join forces. Suddenly, the sound of tearing wind rings out. John agilely dodges a sneak attack. He only sees Hiramoto chasing after him holding a sword. A slash sound rings out, causing John to be injured. At this moment, the morale of the 3 men is high. They immediately surround John and begin a gang beating. After dealing with Tiago and Bororo, John conveniently grabs 2 sections of water pipe and grips them tightly like police batons, beginning the final death match with Hiramoto. Originally, Hiramoto could fight on par with John, but he keeps having to bring up the matter of having tortured Cindy. He starts attacking without mercy, pressing continuously, forcing Hiramoto to retreat. Finally, he swings the pipe up and knocks him out. John picks up the gun from the ground and walks up to Tiago, who is lying gasping for breath. Tiago struggles to get a key, telling John that he keeps evidence of Hiramoto's crimes in his locker. Handing everything to Katerina will destroy this Yakuza gang. At this moment, Hiramoto suddenly swings his sword and rushes forward. John decisively squeezes the trigger without mercy, shooting him until he is riddled like a sieve. Then, with the last bullet remaining, John throws the gun to Tiago, telling him to make the final choice himself. When John leaves the port, a gunshot suddenly rings out behind him. Everything has returned to peace. The police rush in and rescue all the girls, then take them away from there. Cindy has woken up, but still needs time to recover. Manny finds John and invites him to become a U.S. agent, because if he does so, the U.S. government will pay a large remuneration sufficient to settle all of Cindy's hospital bills. Afterward, he accepts a mission named Project Falcon. The movie ends here. See you again.